Hello, hello. Thank you everyone for coming to the Electrovoice and Dynacord Town Hall here at Starin. This is a really exciting one for me. I've been working with Electrovoice for a long time here at Starin. And then in my past life, when I wasn't so tied to them, they were always my favorite choice for both speakers, products, when I was in a band, when I was on the road, when I was working in a big box store, having everything at my fingertips. It was just one of those sounds that always spoke to me. So I can't say how happy I am to have our guests here today to go over some really cool things that are happening in Electrovoice, some of the new products and questions that surround Dynacord and their re-entry to North America after about a decade of being gone. And I know you have a lot of questions. So in our typical town hall format, give a quick introduction to our guests, and let give you a heads up on what's going on, and then from there we'll jump right on into what's going to be the question and answer. So as normal, if this is your first time attending, right at the bottom of your Zoom screen there is the Q&A section. Please start now, start immediately. Any questions you have that you would like answered, we have the answers for you, or at least we'll dig them up for you. Our two guests here today are Eileen Verger. She is the brand manager for North America. We have Christian Gluck, who is the product manager based in the UK. And we have a fantastic team who can answer just about anything from your technical to your sales questions that might be coming up. So with that, I'll let you two introduce yourselves. Tell us a little bit about what's going on with Electrovoice and Dynacord. And for the group of participants here, thanks for the time, and go ahead and light that Q&A pane up. I see it's already starting, so bring them in as they introduce themselves.
All right, so my name is Eileen. I'm the marketing manager for the install portfolio. I'm just gonna quickly pull up a deck that allows me to just kind of walk you guys through what has been happening on our site, because there is a lot of changes that happened over the last 2 years. First of all, being that we are here representing two brands now, Electrovoice and Dynacord. Electrovoice is our speaker brand. I'm just gonna quickly show you two major lines that I think are very, very valid for you as an audience. One being our commercial line, which is what we call EVIT speakers. In the EVIT portfolio, a lot of new introductions have happened last year and upcoming December. We're adding pendant mount speakers, a very shallow can speaker that has only 3.75 inches of mounting depth, and a 6.5-inch ceiling speaker. So for us, a very exciting thing that we are making this product line even more complete. And everything here is a mix and match. So a very versatile offering on the commercial side. I'll skip some explanations here to show you the integrator line. The integrator line is more where we have different weatherization, fiberglass, array clusters, really everything you need for those professional installs, rotatable waveguide. So here also we have filled a gap we had between our EVU, which was our compact kind of balcony fill, and EVF, which is our professional point source box. We have filled a gap in between those two called EVC, which is quite an exciting thing for us because it's giving you a lot of professional performance for a more budget price point. Cool thing about EVC, it has automatic saturation compensation. I will not go into that in detail right now, but if you are interested to know a bit more, of course, pop your question. What it basically does is it makes the speaker and the bass in the speaker sound awesome even when you are using a transformer inline. So efficient use of your amplifiers without stressing your amplifier and keeping your bass response in the speaker. EVI is covering a rectangular audience area, very unique speaker with a one-box solution. You have very nice wide frequency response over a rectangular audience area. And that is all speaker solutions, and we are now with Dynacord really completing that solution with the electronics that accompanying it. So on the Dynacord side, we have had a team of engineers working out of Germany already since 70 years. So a lot of expertise there, but we're finally making that available in North America. The exciting thing there is that because of that strategy, we have heavily invested in resources in Germany, that being both in terms of human resources, but also making very new testing facilities, and everything is designed in-house. And that actually resulted in a completely new portfolio of professional electronics. These electronics are really pushing the market in terms of specs, in terms of price points. C&L series is our line for small to mid-size amplification, so 2-channel amplifiers, full DSP, professional DSP features with even an FIR drive, and a very easy to use software platform there. And then IPX is multi-channel 4 and 8-channel amplifiers, fully Dante, very energy efficient amplifiers, and really a very advanced DSP, making sure for very advanced reliability, the efficiency, and consistency of sound quality. I think those are just a quick overview of what you might not have heard from us, because it's all pretty new, but I think some exciting and interesting things to know what has been happening on our side. Nice for me is that we also have Christian on the line, that is our product manager on the Dynacord side. So he is working out of Germany, very close in touch with our engineers there, and he's going to be able to answer any questions you have regarding the Dynacord line. So Christian, maybe over to you for a bit. I hope I didn't take too long.
No, thank you, Aline. Thanks a lot. Yeah, hi guys, thank you for joining us here. I just talked before to Bobby that in December it will be 20 years that I started here in Straubing. Actually, this time when I started, I was looking over the EV portfolio in Europe, but now I'm responsible for all the electronics, our amplifiers that Aline showed, all new introductions. What's also new, not in our portfolio, but actually new with respect to the US market, are our PowerMate and CMS mixing consoles that we are, you can say, reintroduce to the market. I recall back in the days where I joined, PowerMate was sold in the US under the EV brand. Like many of the Dynacord amplifiers, actually, over the years have been sold, starting from the remote amps, P3000 and all that stuff, under the EV brand. They were always designed and made here in Straubing, Bavaria, Germany. So I'm more than happy to have you there, and I'm ready for all the questions you guys might have.
Excellent. Well, we've got some coming in, and thank you both for that. For moderation today, to take those questions, keep them coming in. Mr. Neil Weber, who's got a little bit of history with Electro-Voice here himself, will be moderating all your questions. So Neil, I'll hand it over to you, and everyone keep those coming in through that Q&A pane at the bottom.
Oh yeah, well, Christian and Aline, it's business time. Are you guys ready?
Ready.
First questions?
Yes.
Question, I think since you started with the Dynacord mixers, we'll start there. Someone has a question that asks, will there be rack-mounted versions?
Actually, everything that has the chance to fit within 19 inches, so that means the 600 and the 1000 models, actually have rack mount option kits. So all you take off the side cheeks and they're perfect to fit into a rack.
Perfecto. Incidentally, I am very excited about the 4-inch low-profile C-Link speaker coming, by the way. Great, great idea. Great idea. Let's see, what else do we have? What new products does EV plan to introduce to compete in the wireless marketplace?
All right, so I'm guessing that's wireless, the microphone. Yeah, so the microphones, the RE2s that we had, of course, we've been a little silent right there because of the FCC regulations. We wanted to make sure all the dust settled down. We knew what the new playing field looked like. We have a very enthusiastic microphone product developer. He has been mapping out all the new frequencies that are available and in what regions, finding really that optimum range for us. It's been taking some time, but we are getting ready to launch our new RE3 line. I am not ready to give you too many details there because we're obviously not launching yet. But I would definitely say keep an eye out. By January, you should be hearing about us on the actual specifications there. But I can tell you, I've seen everything is going to be really exciting. Really getting a lot of the transducers that you are also seeing in our ND microphones, so our wired microphones. So we're going to be able to offer a lot of variations and a lot of quality there as well. So keep an eye out. And if you want to hear them, test them, come see us at NAMM, I would say.
I was just going to say, is this something we might be able to see coming in January at a major trade show?
Yes, come see us at NAMM, definitely.
Excellent.
Electro-Voice has a long and storied history, obviously, with microphones and wireless, so very excited to see that.
Yeah.
Here's another question. Do you plan to introduce digital mixers?
Okay, I think I'll take that one. The answer is yes. So I think the question will continue, and when? Yeah, what should I say? I mean, definitely this will not something where I would say, come and see us at NAMM. Will take a little bit longer. Maybe a quick background. Eileen basically showed you that the new amplifier portfolio, and what she was showing there was basically just the kickoff to roll out. Okay, there's more stuff to come because it's a nice portfolio, but there are still some areas where we need to cover. And on top of that, part of our approach was always the complete system. And with the previous amplifiers, we had our digital matrix mixer, known as in the US as the Electro-Voice NetMax N8000.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, we are first finishing up that Pro Sound amplifier matrix part to get this side of the installation side done and use basically everything that we developed there then to bring into the next generation for mixing consoles. And this will not just be, let's say, a next generation of PowerMate, which is a still big seller here in Europe. There also will be consoles, mixers, and yes, they have to be digital.
Excellent. That we look forward to as well. Speaking of mixers, another question. What are the mixer price points on the powered versions?
On the powered versions? Okay, I mean, it starts with the PM600, which, and this is important to point out, has already the full power. Okay, so it's not because it's the small guy, it has a small amp, it has the full-blown amp. And in the price sheet, we say 2 times 1,000 watt. That's the modest Dynacord rating on a sine wave with music signal, you know, and speccing it in more real world, it's more than 1,200. And it starts the UAPPs for the small guy is 1,999. The PowerMate 1000, which is then the big guy that also has more inputs, but also more auxes and more EQ. That's 299. And then we have the two big versions, the 1,600 and the 2,200, which basically is 1,000 with more inputs, and they run for 3,499 and 4,299.
Gotcha. And the 600 has phantom power, yes, like the rest of the line?
Yeah, of course.
Gotcha. Okay, excellent. Speaking of amplifiers, which amplifier lines support Dante?
So the two amplifier lines that I introduced, C and L series, are, as I said, the small to mid-size. Those we do not run on Dante. The IPX amplifier is really meant for growing that system into a larger configuration. 4 and 8 channel amplifiers, that full line is Dante enabled. So you have 1250 watts per channel up to 5,000 watts a channel, fully over Dante.
Gotcha. Here's another good question. Will there be aux outs to drive in-ear monitors?
On the
The
upcoming digital mixer, or
on the power mount?
I mean, on the PowerMate, we do have there's a total of 6 auxes. 2 are usually reserved for the effects. Then there is 4. Now, talking about digital console, the digital beefed up version of that, this is clearly something that will happen. Especially with talking in-ear monitor and in-ear monitor mixers. There were a few years I was not working for this company where I spent a lot of time in personal monitor mixing. So there is some experience that I will bring from that side as well. And you can be sure, because it's my product, that you will see something like that in our upcoming mixes.
Great. Here's a fun fact. And in addition to being with Electro Voice for 20 years, Christian can also grow a mustache in the amount of time it takes me to binge watch about 3 or 4 Netflix shows. Just in case you didn't know that about our man Christian. Here's another question. This is about the EVID S series. Is the quick mount bracket also for outdoor use?
Yes. So we have the EVID S series is fully IP54. So you can use them both indoors and outdoors. And we have also models available that are IP65. This means you can use them in salt spray conditions or by the poolside. Those are separate models to get an IP65. The subwoofer is out of the box an IP54, so also outdoor use. If you want to use those in the rougher weather conditions, you can even convert those into an IP65 by the port covers that come with the subwoofer.
Gotcha. Also, can you install the speaker horizontally as well as vertically with the EVS mounts?
Yes, so the mount goes both ways. You can install them horizontally and vertically. And actually the mounting mechanism on the speaker, basically you mount the back bracket first and the speaker comes fully wired in the box. So it's just a slide and click on. It's a very quick and in really different way of installing that speaker, where you can actually have only order the back bracket, install that, wait until the pre-configuration phase is done, and only after that you have to order your speakers and not have to have them sit in your warehouses until the project is finally ready for the finalization and the speaker mounting. So that is really a new way of working, which I think is quite a shift in how we have been struggling around with those.
Struggling is a great way to put it. Yeah, I think that's a shift. Did I hear you say something about an EVID outdoor subwoofer?
Correct. Yes. So the subwoofer that comes in that line is standard IP54 indoor outdoor, but can withstand any weather condition if you use the port covers. So whether you're by the ocean side, by the pool side, or in a manufacturing area even, that is a great subwoofer that can be used just about any condition.
That is wonderful. Here's a question regarding the EV Innovation line. What type of amplifier do I use for this?
That's a good question. Basically, the C series amplifiers will drive just about anything up to anything that falls into that integrator line, so the EV Innovation line. It depends, of course, how large you want to grow that system, whether it starts making sense to go for the multi-channel and maybe the more powerful lines to step up to IPX. But with the C series, that goes up to 1800 watts per channel. You have 2 times 1800 watts in one C series amplifier. You can even drive some of our smaller line array systems. Quite some power already in the C series line as well.
Gotcha. Here's a question from somebody that wants to have the transformer saturation concept explained in a bit more detail on the EVC speakers, and is that really a standard on all of the speakers, on the EVC series, that is?
Got it. Yeah. Could I share my screen? Because this is a concept that might be a little harder to explain without a visualization. I can pull that up. I had it in my deck, but I went over it pretty quickly. Let me see. How can I do this? There we go. Yes.
Christian, while she's switching over, there's just one adjunct question on that outdoor sub. Is that passive or active?
It's passive.
Okay.
So the whole EVIT line, at least for now, all passive speakers.
Oh, why does that start at the wrong place? Excuse me. There I go. So basically, when you have a speaker set at a 70-volt operation, as soon as you want to run multiple speakers off of one amplifier, what tends to happen is the amplifier, the transformer starts saturating, which gets your amplifier in trouble. So to avoid that from happening, a lot of manufacturers basically advise you to increase your high pass filter on the system. So instead of at a 50 hertz, you set your your system filter at 100 hertz. This makes sure that the transformers don't saturate and your system stays healthy. The downside to that is, as you can see, as soon as I set my filter to 100 hertz, I lose quite some dynamic information already on my low end. So to avoid that from happening, what we did is we have our system filter still set at that 50 hertz, where not a lot of musicality is happening. We have a dynamic filter sitting in our transformer. So basically that is a reactive filter instead of a proactive filter that only takes out those musicalities that would otherwise get my transformer in trouble. So this means that at each and every speaker I have my optimal bass response. I'm not turning down my system overall. I just have the full optimum bass response, and I just have a reactive filter that makes sure my full system is in good shape. This is a standard on our TK150 transformer. The TK150 is a high quality transformer that can be used in almost every point source box in the EV Innovation line, everything but the under balcony, simply because that transformer is too large for the under balcony speaker.
Got it. Very helpful.
To point out here is that the TK150, this is a retrofit kit. The EVC series fits with everything, all the accessories that are made for the EV Innovation series. So all the connector panels and all these things. And one of these options is for high-set applications, TK150.
Mm-hmm.
It seems that a lot of people just don't like being outside listening to limited bandwidth music. So we've gotten more questions on the outdoor sub here again. Hey, I know what it's like. I know what it's like. The latest question on the outdoor sub is, what is the size of the outdoor, the woofer of the outdoor subwoofer?
The outdoor subwoofer is a dual 10. And it comes, as you can of course sit it on its feet, but it comes with a U bracket. And we are seeing this come up in a lot of installs where they even hang it face down off of threaded rods to hang down a ceiling. So that is the U bracket. It can be used for that as well.
Very cool. So more cone, total cone inches than a 12 with the dual 10s. Very nice.
Yeah, definitely. And I can tell you, I mean, we have one here in our demo room in Straubing, driven by a C-Series, as it should be. And I would say this sub has not what you would expect from a commercial speaker, so to say, as far as a response. I mean, you clearly hear where AV is coming from, you know.
Mhm.
It rocks.
Oh, yeah. Certainly. Talk about a punchy bass, too, I would think.
Yep.
On the rectangular pattern speaker, what is the coverage distance? How do you determine that? That was one of the questions from somebody earlier.
Yeah, it's quite an interesting and unique speaker we have in that EVC line. It looks unique too, but it's pretty cool because basically you hang that from a single point on the ceiling, and it covers. The coverage depends on the height that you hang it. So say you have a 15-inch ceiling, then your coverage pattern starts 15 inches from the wall. It covers twice the height, so that is 30 inches wide, and 3 times the mounting height is your back end coverage. So you get a 45-foot throw basically. So depending on how high you mount it, you have a 1-to-3 ratio coverage, really allowing you to have a far end throw, very even coverage throughout your whole audience area. No need for front fills or delays, and yet from one speaker really having that even coverage, far throw without really hitting the walls too much on the sides of your audience coverage.
Personal note on that, just for everybody out there to highlight that rule. I had a project with a dealer who didn't believe we could do something, and we did it. He was working on a gymnastics stadium training center that had 8 floor exercise places happening. So 8 gymnasts would be using their own dance music to practice their routines, and it was all open air. We lined these up, and he was amazed by the fact that in an open air facility, if you walked from one mat to the next, the music changed. You couldn't hear the music from one mat to the other. It was keeping that much control on each individual mat in that open air environment. So it's really remarkable how well that math lines up. Just thought I'd throw that out there from personal experience, because I'm a geek.
Yeah, we see this used a lot in houses of worship or conference rooms or classrooms, really, where you have that far throw and a more narrow coverage need.
Yeah, it is such an amazing idea to keep the sound on the people and to be able to literally map it out. And it is a little math. It's not a lot of math. I've actually done it before too. So
it really follows. I would say this speaker represents pretty well some of our design philosophies, you know, which is like, if there is an acoustical problem, find an acoustic solution.
Mm-hmm. Tremendous.
Yeah. And I think it is remarkable to really if you haven't, this is to anybody here on the call. I mean, you have to hear that speaker